Welcome into News 5 at 6. I'm Kristen Kwan.
And I'm Casey Getz. You may have heard that we are celebrating here at WCYB our 70th anniversary on this date, August 13th, 1956. WCYB signed on for the very first time. News 5's Ryan A. Renfro shares the story with our special for tonight, WCYB 70 years in the making.
1956. Dwight D. Eisenhower sat in the Oval Office. Elvis Presley had dominion over the radio dial. The Winter Olympics had been broadcast all over the world for the first time. And all of America loved Lucy and Ed Sullivan. But on August 13th, transmitters and antennas hummed, living rooms lit by the soft glow of television screens as families across our region tuned in and WCYB hit the airwaves.
I have a younger brother, and of course we were always fighting over the TV, and at that point there was nothing to watch but one station. So when it got to be two stations, there was a constant fight between the two of us.
When WCYB first crackled across the TV screens, it was broadcasting temporarily from the Hotel General Shelby while waiting on completion of WCYB's first station on Cumberland Street. Those first newscasts were live at 6 and 11 p.m. for 15 minutes and produced by a 5-person news team.
A guy named Ed Spiegel was the first. They didn't even call them news anchors, they were announcers. And he was the first person that I remember reading the news.
It captured our imagination, wondering how it worked and why it worked, and would it keep on working?
Apart from its nightly news coverage, the station had an abundance of original programming, all produced in-house.
They had these shows, these game shows that were locally produced. Kitty College, Classroom Quiz, Club Quiz.
Well, the first thing I remember is actually a hallway. It was just, you go through the door and it was this long hallway that went back, and the studio was in the back. And they had children's shows on Saturday morning, and a fellow named Ed Spiegel hosted that show. I just remember going there, and a lot of children from the area would go and participate.
I remember, watching all the different cartoons and things like that. Matter of fact, was on WCYB in the 3rd grade because I was one of the participants at Mary Hughes School for Kitty College. We got down to the last round. I answered my first 2 individual questions correctly, but we got to the 3rd round, and in the 3rd round, you could confer with the others. And our question was, what kind of cheese has holes in it? None of us knew. I had 2 other young ladies that were on the show with me, and our final answer was pimento. So, big fail there, but didn't work out.
We had a show called Looney Tunes, and that's when cartoons, and they were in black and white, first started. And we had a live audience of kids that sat in the stands and watched the cartoons on the TV, and then we would interact between the actual cartoons, which we would show full screen.
It was during the Ed Spiegel years in 1964 that more than 50,000 youngsters in the area held Looney Tunes membership cards.
Then we did Romper Room, and that would be preschool up to like 8 or 10 years old. And we had a host named Miss Ann, and she would read through her magic glass and read stories.
In addition to those beloved shows were the highly anticipated March of Dimes telethons.
I would go around the neighborhood and collect for a neighborhood collection for the March of Dimes, then come down here and hang out for an hour or so.
I can remember coming down as a kid during those telethons. I remember Michael Landon was here one year, and that one stuck with me.
Telerama Weekend is just about here. The 1978 March of Dimes Telerama on Channel 5.
We also had a lot of local talent, local bands and acts like baton twirlers, people that told jokes, music. And so we stayed on the air 36 straight hours.
The station's first building was located in what is now Cumberland Square Park in the far corner there. And while the original building is no longer standing, its legacy endures 70 years later.
Is sponsored by Kia of Johnson City.
WCYB made the move to its current location in 1975.
Good morning. This is WCYB TV, Channel 5 in Bristol, serving Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City, and the 5-state area.
When I think about that time that I was here as a third grader, what I do remember about that studio was it was tiny, tiny. When I began work here in 1981, it was a great, great facility.
Some of our programs during the day will be on film and videotape.
When WCYB first began broadcasting, reporters were shooting stories on 16mm film.
There was no videotape film. They'd go out and shoot a story on film and come in and put it in a film processor, get it on the air, later on that night.
But by the time the station was in its new home, the technological shift was inevitable.
It was more complicated in a way back then, but at the same time, it's simpler. I like learning something new, and this job has been a constant learning curve since day one. There was always something new.
Well, the week I started, the news went from film to videotape. We still ran a lot of programs off of film. You'd have to run back to the film chain, feed it in, and just let it play out on the floor till the show was over with, and you spliced it back together and reeled it up and got it ready for the next person to run.
Once upon a time, back in the early 1700s, there was no such thing as Bristol.
Okay, I am definitely the old guard of TV. I was actually the person at WCYB who did the first videotape story.
Film was replaced by video cassette tape. Formats like 3/4, M2, VHS, and Beta evolved until analog became the digital formats we all recognize today.
And you didn't have to develop film, you didn't have to process film, you didn't have to cut and splice and edit. You just moved it from one side of it, from one tape onto another tape to do the edits. It was magic.
Where once stood hefty equipment with its moving tracks, rotating knobs, and flipping switches, now stands the evidence of progress.
And we had a big machine that was hydraulic and pneumatic and everything.
It was a robot. It would go grab this, like an elevator. It would grab them, load them in, grab them, take them out, load the other one in.
Our daily broadcasts no longer rely on machines operated by production staff, but modernized through a network of connections.
Our set also had its fair share of renovations throughout the decades.
And 2 chairs in front of a blank wall to our current sleek and leading-edge studio, WCYB has always had a distinct look that viewers recognize. During this time, commercial production began to compete with what viewers were seeing in national programming.
The stuff that you got by with when I first started working, you would do a spot and it would be a copy and it might be recorded and it'd have slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, and they'd actually be changing slides in the control room to go for the commercials. That wasn't gonna cut it anymore because everybody was comparing the commercials against what they were seeing on network TV.
Where would you go to buy a tire, a new blouse, or something to eat all on your lunch hour? Bristol Mall, of course.
I've just done a lot of different commercials for CYB over the years. I played an old guy, I played Lincoln, I played like a horseman at one point, an astronaut, and it was so much fun. I mean, these were just creative things that they would do, and they would call me up because they knew I'd be willing to do it.
Fella had a boat like that, he could certainly do some tall fishing, fast skiing, and lots of other fun things. Yep, I reckon so. And the ladies would certainly go for a man with a boat like that. Oh, I don't think Ma'd like that too much.
Is our boat ready to go yet, Paul?
Yep, reckon so. I got to get me a boat like that. Yep, reckon so.
I just think that CYB has really come a long, long way from that little kid that walked into that hallway over there. And to celebrate 70 years is just a tremendous accomplishment. I'm just very proud to be a very small part of it.
Armistice has been signed, bringing an end to the Korean War.
From Dallas, President Kennedy has been shot and has been rushed to Parkland Memorial. Unrest continues on college campuses across the country. Meanwhile, in Washington, Memphis reports that popular singer Elvis Presley has died of an apparent heart attack. A teacher is among the victims of the Challenger disaster.
Merrill Moore, a team leader for more than 30 years.
Oh, he was great. His favorite thing is, how you doing, Chief? We're doing great.
Merrill was a creature of habit, and Merrill liked his certain things, to go places to get his information in Johnson City. Merrill would go out and get story ideas and do a story before he came to work and anchored the 6 p.m. news.
That's it for this edition of News Center 5. We have national and world news now from NBC.
WCYB has featured marquee names during its time on air, from Walter Cronkite.
So Walter Cronkite was one of the first news directors here.
He said it would not be easy in the years ahead to maintain the present quality of the faculty in competition with more affluent institutions. He added that it would be necessary to avoid spreading resources too thinly.
To Evelyn Boer, one of the region's first female anchors. And of course, everyone's favorite, Johnny Wood.
From the Tri-Cities News Station, Johnny Wood with news, weather, and sports. News Center 5 at 6:30.
Well, good morning. Dry humor is what I would call Merrill, and Johnny was just like, I'm going to make you laugh type humor.
Well, it looks like a beautiful day out there today.
Guess what happened this morning?
I give up.
About an hour and a half ago.
I know. Spring.
Spring sprung, and it's going to spring a leak and rain on us tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, everywhere that Johnny went, he was a loved figure. The community just really embraced Johnny.
Johnny having a 70 share in the morning news, I mean, that's unheard of off of any television station in any market. And this particular one here in Tri-Cities, Tennessee, Virginia, had one of the largest shares of the eyeballs that were watching the morning from 6 to 7 a.m.
I think back to what the advice I got is be yourself. The easiest person on earth you can be.
Sadly, these legends have left us, but their legacies live on. News 5's Caleb Perney tells us about another legacy figure whose voice truly resonated with our WCYB viewers.
Whether you know him as Jim Conrad, Jimmy Blankenbeckler, or even Cosmic Conrad, you definitely know his golden voice and his masterful storytelling. Through Project Family Reach and Focus, News 5's Jim Conrad left a lasting mark on WCYB and our region. Ron Short met Jim Conrad growing up in Wise County. Short remembers their band opened for Loretta Lynn when they suggested sharing drum sets to shorten the teardown.
Loretta's drummer said, he's not having some hillbilly bang away on his. That was the start. You didn't call Jim a hillbilly, even though he might have been.
Short says that attitude was a big influence on Jim's work with Project Family Reach and Focus. That's where I met Jim Conrad. He didn't do a story like most reporters. There was no formal interview.
That's pretty slick hardware you got, Caleb.
It was a natural conversation you didn't realize was the interview until it was over.
Jim came in without a real preconceived notion of what he wanted to have happen in the interview, and he let you essentially talk your way into the story.
Jim wrote, shot, and edited every story by himself. He almost never appeared on TV.
Here's another odd sight. Me on camera.
And that was by design.
He thought the story was about the people, not the reporter. He always just viewed himself as a narrator.
One of the few times Jim appeared on camera was to share memories of Merrill Moore in 2014.
I set him in front of the live truck, fire trucks, and give him a haircut. He said, man, you just saved me $5.
He was the ultimate storyteller. He just liked to chew the fat with people.
Caleb Perney, News 5, WCYB.
There's an aura to working in television, and there's a lot of it that are great things that you do, and that the way people receive you, and it was really a big deal to me. You know, I enjoyed the heck out of it.
For 70 years, we here at WCYB have enjoyed connecting with the viewers in our region. From the fond memories you have of coming to the original station to us taking the station into your communities.
Join us in Kingsport Saturday, August 8th for the Anderson Ford Anderson Imports WCYB TV5 Great Funfest Balloon Race.
Good morning, Kingsport.
Willard Scott, you know, NBC's weatherman, the original Ronald McDonald. They were coming to Kingsport, came to Funfest to do, they did the weather from Funfest.
Let's check the act this morning and see what you got.
We were working on the crew that day. All of a sudden, we're hearing over the headset that we've lost the feed, and that was because there was a cow that had gotten in the line of sight of the mechanism that they were using at that time to get the broadcast out, and so we lost the feed for just a few seconds, and then the cow moved and all come back.
And there was all types of community events. We would go out and do stuff, and just at different places for different things and stuff. And that was pretty cool, getting out in the community and hearing what they had to say.
A tradition still today, this year with our 70th anniversary broadcast from your town, as well as our monthly Storm Tracker tour stops with everybody's favorite meteorologist, Dave Dirks.
Winter storm warnings have been posted for the entire TV5 viewing area.
Yeah, well, you know, I look back at how broadcast meteorology has changed. Back even as late as the 70s, if I remember right, they were drawing their maps, drawing the symbols like the highs and the cold fronts and things, physically with a marker. I remember when I first started in TV, we had chroma key and the green screen technology, but there were still some maps that were used, you know, with the magnetic board where you could throw those different H's and L's and so forth on the map.
Winter has its eyes on the Tri-Cities. And Dave's forecast is right on the money.
Weather affects everybody every day. So one of the big draws to a newscast is going to be your local weather. And so there is a great deal of responsibility. Now, granted, 90% of the time we're out there just having fun, kind of showing a little personality and having fun with the weather. And, you know, there are those times when it is serious business. And so that is when, you know, I begin and you know, feel the importance of what I do. And my main role here is to alert our viewers and keep them abreast of developing weather situations.
Yeah, we've already set some record in the rain department, and we're just day one into this storm event.
And one that I've taken very seriously and have really thought a lot about when I look back at my career here at WCYB.
Hail zone indicating quarter-sized hail moving east through Sullivan County.
I'm going to miss being able to kind of broadcast something that I've been able to do for the past almost 40 years, and that is talk about what has been a love of mine all my life, and that has been weather, and to be able to broadcast that and tell people about it over the years has been just a dream come true. And so I'm going to miss that, and of course I'm going to miss the interaction that I have with our viewers. They are the most important thing of the job that I've held, because without them watching, I never would have been able to continue my work here at WCYB.
As we've looked back on the past 70 years, we also hope to look to the future, and we hope to be here for another 70 years.